Hello, everyone. This is Tiffany with Healthy Passions. If you do not know me, let me briefly introduce myself. I am a certified personal trainer, certified wellness coach, certified energy healer. By birth, I am an oracle, prophetess, and a natural healer. Today, I wanted to do a full video on the information that I wanted to provide on the live on TikTok at 4 o'clock today. I am doing a special live, if you do not know, on TikTok in reference to mental health and the connection to spiritual oppression and spiritual possession. So it's going to be a very lovely live, but there's some things that you cannot say on TikTok. It's so censored, and also it's lengthy. So I wanted to make sure I got all the information out on a YouTube video that allows me to go a lot longer than a live would. And get more in depth than a live would on TikTok. So, mental health and its connection to spiritual oppression and possession. Uh, I like to get down to the definitions. So people kind of use some of these terms interchangeably as if they are the same thing. So I want to give people the clear language as to what these things are. So I'm going to give you the definition of mental illness, demonic oppression, and then demonic possession. All right, so let's get started. Mental illness is a health condition that significantly affects a person's thinking, emotions, mood, or behavior. A health condition that significantly affects a person's thinking, emotions, mood, or behavior. Demonic oppression. Demonic oppression. Demonic oppression is sustained external spiritual attack where the malevolent entities harass an individual intensely, influencing their thoughts, emotions, and circumstances. Demonic oppression is the sustained external spiritual attack where a malevolent entity harass an individual intensely, influencing their thoughts, emotions, and circumstances. Unlike demonic possession, where a demon controls the person from the inside, oppression targets a person from the outside, aiming to in, aiming to induce despair, trap them into sinful habits, and paralyze them spiritually, and or paralyze them spiritually in their spiritual growth. Okay, so the next one, give me a second here, guys. I got notes and they're in different spots. All right, so demonic possession is a condition in which a malevolent supernatural entity takes control of a person's body and actions. Symptoms historically attributed to it include drastic personality changes, speaking unknown languages, superhuman strength, and severe mental distress. Those are some. There are many more. All right, so demonic possession, a condition in which a malevolent supernatural entity takes control of a person's body in action. Symptoms historically are attributed to and include drastic personality changes, speaking unknown languages, superhuman strength, and severe mental distress. So I repeated those twice, not because y'all are not intelligent enough to get it, but I wanted to do that just in case you wanted to write them down. All right, so let's start with demonic oppression. So when we have a person who is demonically oppressed, key manifestations of the oppression come in different areas and show up and manifest different ways. So psychologically, it's like an intrusive, repetitive, or blasphemous thoughts keep happening in the person's mind, persistent heaviness, abnormal fears, and irrational anxiety. So that's how those manifest in the physical, how we kind of see it. Um, Relational, the way demonic oppression affects show and manifest in the physical, it'll be sudden, inexplicable conflicts in marital discord. It could be in isolation from friends, family, and community. No, that's a very brief, but we'll get more into that later. I have plenty of videos about that. All right, so like physically, how it can show up on the body in the physical would be exhaustion, chronic nightmares, unexplained physical elements or environments, experiencing unusual disturbances, and reoccurring mechanical breakdowns. Okay? And then spiritually, demonic oppression can show up in the physical as an intense inability to pray, a loss of inner peace, and overwhelming temptations to engage in habitual sin. So those are just a few ways that demonic oppression can show up. Most people confuse demonic oppression for, oh, that person is possessed. No, there would be a huge difference in being demonically oppressed and then possessed, okay? So I just want to make sure that was very clear. Let me make sure that everything that I wanted on that first page, guys. Yeah, all right, looks like we did. All right, so let's talk about demonic possession. All right, so like we said, that is a demonic entity completely taking control over the person. Like the person is still there, but they're pushed back deep into the psyche, and the demonic entity is controlling the body, the mind, and thoughts and emotions. Okay, so in modern science and medicine, they do not recognize demonic possession as a medical diagnosis, although the concept of demonic possession exists globally. Yet scientists tell the world that the possession is not real. They create fake medical conditions like DID, dissociative disorders, multiple personalities, or things like that. Or it could be an alternate personality or multiple personalities. Then there is neurological conditions that are usually associated with demonic possession. So these conditions can be explained in science in manipulative language as severe nervous conditions, epilepsy, and at times a physical brain tumor, all of which can cause all of which could cause so-called hallucinations that are not necessarily hallucinations, but I'll get back to that in a minute. Hallucinations are not necessarily that. This is the person actually seeing. The doctors are saying they're hallucinations, like what they're seeing is not real, but there's been documented cases of people with these conditions that hear and see there, and as that mental illness progresses, they have physical things moving in their apartment, things that they see that actually appear. So it's hard to call them hallucinations when it's been kind of recorded that they are seeing and hearing something, right? So what I say as a holistic person looking at it spiritually, all of which on the hallucinations, this is the person actually seeing just past the veil. They're seeing the physical, uh, not they're seeing past the physical, seeing past the veil, and seeing the spirit realm. So what they're seeing may not be in the physical realm, but they are seeing something real in the spirit realm. It's hard to kind of say that without people looking at you sideways. But when you have always, when you have the gift of sight or the gift of hearing, um, that comes natural to you. It's not natural to everyone. So the people that it's not natural to, they say it's not real or you're crazy or whatever the case may be. But for most of us who have those gifts, we know that it truly is. Okay, so other physical manifestations are involuntary physical contortions in altered states of consciousness that that historically are associated with possession. So there's science usually dismisses what they can't explain, right? And that is where they fail a lot of people in treating them. If they can't explain it, for them, it's either a theory or just not real and thrown out completely, okay? So, another way that demonic possession kind of shows up in the physical is psychosis and schizophrenia. Okay, severe mental health crises causes delusions, um, auditory Hallucinations and erratic behavior are often misidentified as medical distress versus what they actually are, demonic possession, or demonic possession. And unfortunately, doctors and science misdiagnose their patients often. They throw pills at a spiritual problem. In no way, shape, or form does a pill cure or stop a spiritual problem. You're throwing something physical at the spiritual, and that's why these people hardly ever get better. What the pills do is like maybe calm them down, maybe alter their hyperness, and just cause other side effects that are unnecessary, but it doesn't solve the actual problem, the underlying problem. I am not saying to stop taking your pills. Whatever treatment you trust with your doctor, go ahead and continue to take, but I am saying couple it with the spiritual side, if that is the case. Okay. Now, don't eliminate the spiritual side of it. Um, and then they wonder why, like, they can't really cure much of any disease. There are simple diseases that can be cured with herbs, that can be cured with sunlight, exercising, just being a healthy individual as far as eating correctly, things like that. But they can't cure them. They throw a pill at everything, and that's anywhere from a physical element to a spiritual element. uh, there's never really, in their science, in their medications, there's never really a solution. It's not really designed to be a solution anyway, because they like to perpetually keep people coming back, because that is an industry to where they like to make money. So if you give someone a pill that cures them, then you can't come back and then make money and profit off of that same person who is now healthy. So what they do is they give you a pill to maybe cure the symptoms. But when you take that pill, you get other conditions from the pill that they gave you. So now you got to come back and get other pills to cure that, and then it's a never ending cycle. So if you are experiencing either demonic possession or demonic oppression, mental illness in general, um, you need deliverance. First, you need to repent from whatever you were doing that opened the door. Because a lot, 9 times out of 10, I would say 10 times out of 10, there was something that you were doing that you had no business doing, and it opened up the door for those uh, demonic entities to enter in and cause havoc on your life and torment you. So you definitely need to repent. Not only that, you need deliverance, you need fasting, prayer, spiritual warfare, prayers, things like that. You need to learn how to fight in the spirit. And the only thing too with that is sometimes people get so far deep into dark practices that they think that if they just go one time, then that might be it. Then they don't have to fight anymore. Not realizing that when you start to say, okay, no more, I want to get rid of this demonic entity, I don't want to feel like this anymore. When you start to fight against it, they bring back other demonic entities, 7 more that are stronger than them, to try to take your body back over, or to get back into your life to do whatever. So it has to be consistent, and the moment you start to fight back, it's going to increase. The warfare will increase. They will attack you more. So be mindful of that. It gets worse before it gets better. Okay, the best way to do it is not to get involved in things that open doors. All right, I know that's pretty hard for most people to do, especially in the environment and the world that we live in today, but it is definitely possible. All right, the best way to stay protected and safe from this type of activity is to follow the laws and commandments, and then also walk upright, be righteous, and don't participate in foolery. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of ways to open these doors. All right, I love you guys. Now that that is out the way, I will be doing a live on TikTok at 4. If you are interested, we'll be going over these definitions, and then I will let people comment and ask questions, and we'll go over each person's situation. I think I set aside about 2 hours, so from 4 to 6, so that I can get with the people and talk with the people and see what's going on and see if I can help in any way. All right, I love you guys. Have a good day.